grasp on all those kids that are going to be starting. We do have our 4K, which helps, but still there's lots of folks that will do 4K not within the district and then start kindergarten with us and so on. Right now we've been hovering around the area where the policy states that we would need to add another teacher. So it's been above that for a few weeks now, and we want to make sure and ensure that they really would need this teacher and that the staffing levels, would meet that and we would meet the policy. So what we're asking is at our first meeting in July that we would approve that if the staffing levels are at that level where we would need to add a teacher, that we could just post and do that then at the time needed, and we wouldn't have to come to the board meeting again and ask and so on. So that's where we're at with that.
Okay. Then fund balance designation. It looks like Julie is going to take this one.
Thank you, Julie.
Chris, you can present this if you'd like to.
Thank you so much for presenting this evening, Julie.
Several years ago, the Governmental Accounting Standards Board put forth new guidelines that required the school districts to identify their fund balance as of June 30th and the end of each fiscal year. And we're required to estimate what those numbers will be. The audit will determine the final numbers that are within the categories. Within the general fund, there are 5 categories: non-spendable, restricted, committed, assigned, and unassigned. Within the other funds, most of them are restricted, except for the last fund in your issue paper, the Fund 70 Trust and Agency, which is scholarship fund. We do have some money in a CD, so that is non-spendable, and then the remaining of that is restricted for scholarship awards. And so your issue paper identifies some estimates for to be recorded as of June 30th for fund balance designation. And I'll just go through them real quick in the general fund for your understanding. In the non-spendable, we do not have a balance estimated at this time. In restricted, the fund balance estimate is $803,000, and that is for the sinking funds. Does anyone have any questions on what the sinking fund set aside involves?
Would you explain that for Rebecca?
Yeah.
Sure, best I can understand it myself, right? So we set aside, based on previous referendums, money for operational facility and maintenance needs. And then for Prairie View, there's also a set aside for technology so that they can continue to support the technologies that were built into that building when it was put in place. And so each year we set aside $126,000 in total from the general fund, unrestricted fund balance, and we transfer that to a separate checking account called the sinking fund. But I transfer the net, so if there's been any expenditures year to date for those buildings, so if Sand Lake had some maintenance expenditures where they were using sinking funds, I would reduce the transfer to the checking account for their annual allocation for those reserves. And so we keep a running total, and that total fund balance estimate is $803,000 for the end of this current fiscal year. I work with John Daly and I work with Greg Kruger to estimate in the future budgets how much of those sinking fund dollars they will be designating and using within that fiscal year. And then again, I take the net of the $126,000 less what we spent year to date, track each one of the buildings that have those revenue sources, and then make the transfer to the sinking fund checking account. Okay? The next one is the committed. These are HRA or sick leave obligations for current retirees. The number is estimated at $294,000. When we're doing this, the earlier that they retire, the more we know what those severance sort of payouts are going to be, or HRA contributions and ongoing benefits. Those dollars are shrinking based on sunset language within our employee handbook. So this number is actually based on prior year actual and will be revised based on our actual. The next one is assigned. We have set aside, it's still considered spendable, but it's assigned and set aside for anticipated payroll and benefit obligations prior to the district receiving aid or levy proceeds. So an idea for that is we have expenses all through the summer. We don't get, our state equalization aid schedule starts more like in September. We get about 15%. We do get levy proceeds in August, but those are the remaining receivables that the counties owe, or the municipalities owe for the levy that was certified last October. We do not get aid in August, we do not get aid in October, so we set aside, based on that distribution schedule and that, remember the chart of when the revenue's coming in and when we need it from the fund balance designation conversations, or recalibration. So just trying to anticipate what are we gonna need before we get our receipts from aid and levy. So that's the assigned. And then the unassigned is just the balance of the spendable and it's for operational cash flow needs. Any questions on the designation?
And that is part of tonight's agenda?
It is also on the consent tonight.
Just had to find where I was. I didn't remember if I was in Google or Dropbox, but yes, it is.
Okay, is it? Yeah. Because I was back and forth with Alexis a little bit.
So, any questions on that? Okay, thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. Well, then, moving on to consent agenda, we have 7 items. Are there any of those items you would like to have removed separately for consideration?
No.
Otherwise, I would entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda items as presented.
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion or comments? Okay, I just would know that fund balance target recalibration is in there. We had some good discussion about that last meeting, so, motion has been made and seconded to approve the consent agenda items as presented. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Board member reports and discussion. I'll call on you in order of roll call, and I need to find that. For any committee reports or any comments. So, first of all, Lisa Collins.
Well, we had a finance committee tonight and very healthy discussions about the budget development process and how also the calendar coming up with that process and how, I guess, generally how to align kind of the administration and leadership goals with the district's strategic objectives, just kind of keeping everything kind of fitting together along the way. So it was a lot of good information, and we'll hear more about that as that rolls out. That's about it.
Okay, thank you. Rebecca.
Just want to welcome Jill Mason again to the Director of Pupil Services, and also to Greg again for helping us out this evening. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Dunlap, Gary.
I have no comment.
Okay, Tom Cruise.
Yeah, I also like to welcome Jill to the Holman District, and yeah, I enjoyed the conversations today in the Finance Committee. It was it's good. We're just a proactive group, and it's exciting. So.
All right. Jaden Beyer, did you have anything?
I'd also like to welcome Jill to the district, and I'd like to set some time aside to talk about my Badger Boys state experience. I went to that recently. That's why I was excused that June 13th board meeting. And I'd have to say it was one of the greatest experiences of my life. What you get to do is you get to run for political offices, you get to attend political discussions or current events discussions, you get to also go into band, choir, and do athletics. And I was fortunate enough to be a delegate to go there. I didn't win any political offices, but that's not really important. It was the experience that counted, and I really encourage students, the juniors for next year, because it's only juniors that are allowed to pursue for this experience. It's really it's a once in a lifetime experience, and you get to meet a lot of nice people and friends that you will meet for your entire life, that you'll have lifelong friendships with.
Well, thank you for taking time and going, and we're happy that you were able to participate, Jaden. Thank you for sharing. Let's see. And then it's me. I just had a couple things too. I think we got everybody, didn't, oh, Lisa, yeah, we got everybody. I just had to welcome Jill as well, and then just to note that I did receive a thank you card from, on behalf of the board, from Jan Wee, who had retired a while ago, but as she was recognized and received her recognition from us, she just wanted to let us know that she appreciated the certificate and the I think we give some kind of stipend, gift certificate or something to retirees. So she just, I thought that was nice that we got a written thank you note from her. And then I know that on Friday, I think it is when the governor will be coming to Holmen, and we're very proud of our robotics team, and I'm glad that he's going to get to see what they've done and that sort of thing. I just, it's that not politicizing our students kind of thing, and just remembering that, and we want to always be cognizant of that we're there to show him. I hope whoever is in attendance will remind him of some of the difficulties that we have. But I am very proud that he is coming to Holmen, and whether you respect his policies or procedures, you have to respect the position, and he is the governor of our state. And so out of respect of the position, I think it's very cool that he's coming and going to be learning and hearing about our students. The other thing is, I don't think I've received committee requests from people. Oh, I did too. Kate sent me a request. I'm gonna do some creative assigning if I don't,
What is
unless,
what is her request?
of what committee you wanna be on. I don't think I've
Who wants
heard-
to be on?
You do, board
I already
committee.
stated I
Yep.
want to be on finance, but.
Okay, but could you do that in writing so that I can
Oh.
take it, email?
Okay,
Oh,
yes.
really?
I've been asking for that because it's like
Email now?
Gmail, email. Yeah, if you could just send an email so then Chris and I can look at that and make sure.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Sorry.
So I'm gonna be creative otherwise. And then I would just note July 11th and July 25th are upcoming board meetings. It is 7:27. Is there anything else to come before the board? Otherwise, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll
Make that motion?
make that motion.
Is there a second?
Oh, choked on it.
Yeah.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say, all those in favor of adjourning, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. 7:28, Anita.
Yeah.
Oh, beat that.
So
We are adjourned. Thank you.